YOLO, and welcome back for episode 5 of the Pokemon Emerald Hardcore Nuzlock. As a brief reminder, we'd stopped just before fighting Watson, the electric-type gym leader. So I look at my team and get ready to go and take Watson on when I realize Life Depth is level 19. One level away from evolving and gaining me a secondary Pokemon in the form of Shedinja. And as you can see by the background, I decided to run over here and fight a bunch of randos because having a full team of 6 to fight Watson will probably be beneficial in some way, shape, or form. And boy am I glad that I did, because what happens when I'm in the fight with him? Oh, it is one for the history books, to say the least. Oh, we've got a lot of ground to cover in today's episode, and watching me battle against countless random Pokemon to level up, kinda boring. So we're gonna cut to the good part. And just like that, thanks to the power of editing, our sweet little Nincada evolves into a Ninjask, a ninja bug Pokemon, who then starts learning a bunch of new moves, leaving its old husk of a shell behind on the ground. I'm so enthralled with this new Pokemon and its new moves that at first I don't notice it. The empty, lifeless husk start to move around on its own, as if it has some semblance of life in it, even though it's dead. I then open up the party to take a look and see what this extra Pokemon I have is. See, here's my Ninjask, which I expected, but what's this? Shedinja, who I did not get to nickname, unfortunately. So I guess we're stuck with Shedinja, having only 1 max HP. It will only ever have 1 max HP. But now we're gonna go and take a look and see what they say in the Pokedex entries. Pokedex entry number 43, Ninjask. Because it darts about vigorously at high speed, it is very difficult to see. Hearing its distinctive cries for too long induces a headache. Since this Pokemon is based off a cicada, I think a headache is putting it mildly. Because when cicadas emerge from the ground once every 7 years or so, it is such an overwhelming cacophony of bug sounds that it could drive you insane. Headaches are the least of your concerns. Migraines, or just feeling like your head is going to explode from the inside out, is much more likely what you're going to end up dealing with. But now let's take a look at the Pokedex entry for our new Pokemon, our Bug Ghost Pokemon, which is a unique typing. Pokedex entry number 44, Shedinja. A peculiar Pokemon that floats in air even though its wings remain completely still. The inside of its body is hollow and utterly dark, kind of creepy and macabre. Also, how do you know the inside of its body is utterly dark? Because in different versions of the Pokedex entry, it says that if you gaze into its open back, you will die. After gaining our 2 new Pokemon, or 1 new Pokemon and 1 evolved Pokemon, we skit-skat-skadoodle back to the hospital, heal up, save twice, and then check our TMs, realize there's not really much we can do with them, move Clifford in the front, and now we go to fight Watson, the electric-type gym leader. He starts off by triggering my PTSD via a Voltorb.
No. Wait.
I have to quickly shake off the traumas of what happened to me in my Fire Red playthrough, because he uses Spark. We go for Thunder Wave to paralyze him, and then we switch into Kipper, and we go for the Mud Slap, lowering his accuracy. It's super effective, lowers his accuracy, he's paralyzed, easy peasy, pudding and pie, kill the Voltorb, make him die. Being immune to electric attacks, this seems like it's going to be super easy, barely an inconvenience. So we use Rollout, few turns later, kills his Clifford, his Electrike. And then the Magneton comes out, and uses Sonic Boom that does a guaranteed 20 damage, almost killing us, because if he had used it again, we would have been dangerously close. We were locked into a multi-turn move of Rollout. Thankfully, we got out of Rollout and started spamming Mud Slaps before he brought Kipper to within kill range. We were able to get his accuracy dropped, but now we're forced to switch Kipper out so we don't die. So we throw in our new Pokemon, Shedinja, because I know that if he uses Sonic Boom, it will not work. But he doesn't. He heals up and gets a free safe turn to heal. So I decide the best thing to do is probably to switch Shedinja out. This is a very risky play, but I know that he's not going to use an electric move on Shedinja because of Wonder Guard, so I can safely swap into Shinron. But I can't leave Shinron in because one electric type attack and, well, we're dead. But you know who can tank an electric type attack? That's correct! Shedinja can tank an electric type attack. He can actually take almost any kind of attack except for whatever would be super effective on him, because Wonder Guard allows you to completely negate all non-super effective damage. But if I'm hit with a super effective move, well then it's GG's, because I only have 1 HP. But now we have a new problem. It seems that Magneton can only use the move Supersonic on Shedinja. Now, Shedinja could kill itself if it's in a confused state, which means we cannot leave Shedinja out there. So whatever Pokemon we switch in is guaranteed not to take an attack because Magneton will only use a confusing move. But if we leave a different Pokemon out there, then Magneton will use an attack on them, and a bunch of my Pokemon are weak to electric, so we have to swap back into Shedinja. But I can't fight with Shedinja because Magneton would then put me into a confused state, which gives me basically 50-50 odds of killing myself and throwing the match. But if I switch into a different Pokemon, then I'm guaranteed not to take an attack because it'll use Wait a second. I think I may be in a little bit of predicament here. I seem to have gotten myself into some kind of swap stall strat problem. I don't really know how I can figure out a way to counteract this. I try throwing out a different Pokemon, Life Death, who gets speed boosts and maybe could do some damage and attack. But the problem I'm running into is Life Death is vulnerable to electric damage. So I'm gonna have to swap it out, and then swap into someone who could take the attack, such as Shedinja. I'm like at the point where I'm scouring through the stats trying to see if anyone has enough, power to take the hits, and then I swap into Shedinja. But it is during this swapping back and forth that I come up with my strategy to defeat Watson. Here it is. Step 1. Don't let my Pokemon die. Step 2. Keep spamming, swapping out, in and out, getting some Gyarados intimidates to lower his attack, until eventually Magneton runs out of PP for Confusion, or not Confusion Ray, sorry, for Supersonic. Once it runs out of Supersonic PP, then Shedinja should be able to stay in and attack it, because the only attacking moves it's shown are, Supersonic, which is a normal type move, and then an electric type move, so both of those are non-damaging to me. I don't know if it has a fourth move because it's only seemed to spam the same 3 things and it hasn't tried to do anything different to Shedinja. I threw out Clifford and almost lost her to make sure we could get that paralysis on Magneton. That way we have a little bit more of an advantage just in case anything happens. But now I'm going to speed up the background because we just do a lot of swapping in and out. But that's my strategy.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
I'm tired of this, Grandpa!
That's too damn bad!
I continue swapping in and out, over and over again, trying to also check the stats to see if anyone could theoretically fight this thing because this is taking forever. But I don't want to risk dying. Well, I mean, more so than I already am. There were a few misclicks here and there where I sent out the wrong Pokemon or left a Pokemon out for a turn. Thankfully, we did not get killed. We're just burning through all its PP. Now, the paralysis turned out to be a little bit of a detriment to this plan, because every now and then it ended up, stalling out and missing a turn because it was paralyzed, slowing down this incredibly slow process even further. But I am 100% convinced that if I did not look over my team before I fought Watson, realize that Life Death was one away from evolve Life Death, gain Shedinja, then I'm pretty sure I probably would have had a complete squad wipe here. Purely because Kipper took so much damage early on, he wouldn't have been able to hang in there and go toe-to-toe, round for round, band for band, with Magneton. So I would have been having to throw in my Pokemon who are, apparently, half my team, is vulnerable to electric-type damage. But just as Rome wasn't built in a day, and as the Grand Canyon took centuries to millennia to who knows how long to be carved out by water, we so indeed whittled down Magneton's offensive capabilities to the point that we can leave a Pokemon out there long enough to start doing stuff. And that Pokemon is Life Death. We go for Shrieks to lower its defenses before we then take a defensive position ourselves and swap back into Shedinja, since, Life Death still was taking some damage. But now that Magneton's attack is as low as it can go, it's run out of PP, it can't fight back, we start brutally sending our floating cadaver at it, and it dies.
I thought I had it all together, but I was led astray the day you walked away. You were the clock that was ticking in my home, changed my state of mind.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Love so hard to find.
we got him.
After Shedinja got its first kill, I was overconfident and cocky, and left him out against the Manectric that came out next. Luckily, I didn't get punished for that because it used Howl. And then it used Howl again, and I realized it only could use Howl. All of its other moves must not have been effective against me. So we defeated it, shoved it in Watson's face, the dead dog, while our undead bug flaunted its undamaged body, taunting him mercilessly. Watson then gives us the TM for the move Shockwave, an electric type attack that can literally never miss. It has infinite accuracy. We really only have one option. We have to teach it to Clifford. And we do. But I now skit-scat-skadoodle on over to the hospital to heal up our team who almost got obliterated before I do a double save. And then do a little bit of team rearranging here at the PC. Shedinja was amazing, but the Wonder Guard gimmick, I just don't want to risk it dying on some dumb random trainer who has a rock or fire move for who knows what reason. We end up replacing it with our tentacle named Squidward. And the reason for that is, if memory serves me correct, which sometimes it does, the next gym should be Flannery's. And that is the fire-type gym. So having super effective Pokemon probably wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. My Pokemon are definitely going to need to level up before we go anywhere near Flannery's gym. Plus, there's a whole lot of trainers between us and her gym. Like these people here and their double battle. And Life Death is putting in work, slaughtering their team left, right, and center. Honestly, I have underestimated how good of a Pokemon Life Death is. I am super stoked for when it learns Baton Pass. I'm not exactly sure at what level that happens, but its speed boost ability, comboed with Baton Pass, could make for some dastardly effective strategies later. So it is safe to say that Life Death is going to be on my Elite Four team. I'm so glad that Life Death is alive and nothing bad is going to happen to it in this extra long episode, because of how good it is and the strategy that would be really cool. But let's ignore that and come over here and let's go gambling.
Go gambling! Aw, dang it! 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 Aw, dang it!
I mean, they give us a roulette wheel, we have to do it. Even though you could probably get better odds or you could win more at the slot machines, having the roulette table is just so much cooler. But I'm not going to spend 30 hours, grinding a roulette table in front of you guys. So we'll come over here and beat up this guy's Pokemon instead. I don't really need to do the gambling in this one like I did in Fire Red because I'm not trying to get a Porygon Z, which was 9,999 coins. Instead, I can just come over here, obliterate these people's Pokemon, try to squeeze out every sweet little drop of EXP I can before we head over to Route 117 for our new encounter. And we end up getting an Oddish. Now this Pokemon could be pretty good. And I've already kind of got a name idea. You see, in my last Nuzlocke, I had named one of the Pokemon after my YouTube buddies, Tfish. So I thought, why not do it again here in this Nuzlocke? So I've decided to name this Pokemon after another YouTube buddy I have, Josh Waltz. Links to both their channels will be in the description below. Definitely check them out. They make some absolutely great content. Now let's see what the Pokedex entry has to say about this Pokemon. Pokedex entry number 88, Oddish. This Pokemon grows by absorbing moonlight. During the daytime, it buries itself in the ground, leaving only its leaves exposed to avoid detection by its enemies. And now we have Josh added to the party. Or, well, actually, he's going to be put into the PC. But we're not going to be adding you into the party anytime soon, Josh, on account of the fact that, the next gym is a fire-type gym, and I don't want you to be the dead.
No thanks, I choose life.
But after that, we run around and stomp all over these flowers right in front of the NPC who said that they loved them or they planted them or whatever, just to remind them that we are the villain here. I mean, there may be the Bloods and the Crips, the Aquas and the Magmas, but we're the real villain. We then go pay a visit over to Make-A-Wish, see that he's still alive, run around this town before we head into the mart to buy a few items, because we have, over $2,000, or had over $2,000. Easy come, easy go. Before we get into a fight with this rather rotund, high-calorie human. And you know what we do? We send out Kipper, who spits on his things.
Gotta give him that hawk too and spit on that thing, you get me?
He then tricks us by throwing out a non-rock type Pokemon. And we get locked into a multi-turn move. Thankfully, we were just so powerful we were able to kill him before things could have gotten ugly. And we come up here and see this dude trying to break a rock with his own fists. But he doesn't even have the HM Rock Smash. Now, could I easily break this rock and unite these two lovers? Absolutely. But will I? No. Like I said before, I woke up and I was like, instead of saying good morning to my neighbors, I was like, bad morning. I woke up in a funk, in a mood, and I decided I'm gonna be a villain today. So I just stand here, watch this man suffer over and over as he fails to break through the rock. Then I talk to his girl in front of him before I decide, you know what? Maybe I should go ahead. And then I'm like, psych! And I just dip like the true villain that I am. After a quick OCD compulsive double save, we get into a double battle, where we run into some double trouble. See, the real trouble is, these Pokemon are level 18 and 19, and my Pokemon are level 16 and level 20 respectively for Clifford and Life Death. Now, Life Death is an appropriate level to be on par with these people, but we have admin and or boss fights coming up when we have to break up the Blood and Crypt super battle at the Volcano of Doom. Or maybe it's just mostly blood and then one dude who, fights the entire team by himself, epic Giga Chad style. But nevertheless, we do have some intimidating fights coming up. And the fact that these Pokemon are slightly above, if not on par with where we're at right now, is a bit concerning. So I figured I should probably not skip any of these trainers, and I should fight every single person. That way I have the chance to squeeze out as much EXP possible, so I don't end up getting steamrolled or fall into just some bad RNG where, if I had leveled up a little bit, I could have survived on a few HP, but since I didn't, I die. Miss me with all that. I then heal up my Pokemon before I notice this house over here. And I talk to the guy and he's like, oh, my entire family lives here and we like battling. So I decide, you know what, I'm gonna run his pockets. I tell him to square up, and then I just completely obliterate him, and he feels so bad he runs inside and says he's gonna go tell his family members to come and fight me. So now we're doing a generational beef, as he throws out his old lady, and she comes out here trying to throw hands. But little does she know, Life Death, he's too quick for her. She uses Stun Spore to try and cut our speed, and Life Death just looks at her as like, how pathetic, before obliterating her Rosalia. She runs inside, and then next comes out a kid with a Meryl, level 15. A water-type Pokemon. Clifford absolutely obliterates this thing. It was easy peasy pudding and pie. Shock the Aqua Rat and make it die. Now we swap into Life Death, who is paralyzed, and normally that would cut, your speed in half. But Life Death is just so fast. Faster than Sonic the Hedgehog. Faster than Barry Allen from the CW TV show The Flash. Which, the first 1 to 3 seasons of that show were actually good. The rest, not so great. Then the Granny comes out with her Meta Titty, and she means business as she instantly kills Miss Sky.
Oh shit, here we go again.
Well, that kinda sucks.
Well, this sucks.
We were at full health, and we resisted that attack since it was a fighting type attack used on our flying type Pokemon. So this old lady just come out here with this super kung fu Pokemon that is laying a beat down on our team, to the point where Shinron is in danger. Thankfully, Shinron just uses his Dragon Balls to wish it was dead, and then we can run back to the PC. But since the wish was to kill their Pokemon instead of to save or resurrect one of ours, I guess Josh Walt is going to see a little bit of action now. Now, I'm not going to keep you in there long enough to let you die against Flannery in the Fire-type gym, but it would be nice not to have you be like a million levels behind for after that. I then go back, visit this family, talk to each of their family members, trash-talking them on how basically they're a bunch of losers, before I walk over here and realize I could have just healed at this place. I had completely forgot this place existed, this huge cool battle tower. I might have to go back there and do a mini episode. But now it's time to teach Rock Smash and get through this little area, which I do plan on going back there, because I have a secret idea. Well, I'll go ahead and tell you the idea now rather than keep it a secret as I fight these schmucks in the background. My idea is there is a 5% chance whenever you smash a rock with Rock Smash that it'll spawn a Geodude. Now, there is no way to get an encounter in that area because there's no tall grass. And our Pokerod, our old rod I should say, for catching Pokemon, can't really get us any more encounters. We have to get a better version of our fishing rod before we could get an encounter there. But I get the feeling that having a Geodude who's 4 times resistant to fire right before we get to the fire gym is probably a no-brainer. So I will be, in I don't know how long, doubling back to that area and smashing the rocks over and over and over so we can try and get that 5% Geodude encounter. Now it's time for Josh to show us what he's made of, as he uses the Absorb strats to suck Sandshrew dry, dealing damage to it and healing himself. No one heals themselves by hurting others. Josh does. He's toxic like that. Nah, Josh is actually a really cool dude, and you should all go and check out his channel through the link in the description below. Now, I did tell you I was going to do the 5% chance for a Geodude on the rocks. That's because that's what I end up doing after I realized my fishing rod was useless here. So I run back and forth trying to cause these rocks to respawn, and then to do it again, and again, and again. It takes a ridiculous amount of time, so we're just going to go ahead and do a quick cut until I actually get the one that spawns a Geodude. And by the power of editing, we have spawned a Geodude by smashing the rocks over and over and over. Now we put it into a poisoned state via Poison Sting to make it a little easier to catch. And we do, on our first try. So now let's take a look and see what the Pokédex entry has to say about this thing. Pokédex entry number 57, Geodude. It climbs mountain paths using only the power of its arms. Because they look just like boulders lining paths, hikers may step on them without noticing. Okay, but like, really? Only using the power of its arm? It only has arms! Brother's got no legs! He's got no leg!
But you ain't got no legs, Lieutenant Dang.
I end up deciding to name this Geodude Patrick, after Patrick Star, since Patrick lives under a rock, and we found that thing under a rock. It only seems fitting to name it such. Then we get into a fight with this trainer who has a Nuzleaf. Now you may notice, the first few letters, Nuz, seems awful familiar, doesn't it? That's because Nuzleaf was the original Pokemon that brought about Nuzlocks. Well, the lock portion being the name John Locke from a TV show character. But no, originally the Nuzleaf was the poster child for Nuzlocks, as it was, I believe, a web comic about someone's playthrough that then got shared and spread throughout the internet and set up the basic rules for Nuzlocks that I'm doing now. Well, I'm doing more of a hardcore Nuzlocke, but still, you get the idea. But that's like some level 2 internet or Pokemon Nuzlocke lore. Now we try to get a Pokemon encounter. But since Meryl is, well, you know, a species duplicate, we get to roll again. And we get a Numel, or Numel, depending on how you pronounce it. I go with Numel. Numel just doesn't sound quite right. We simply just throw a Pokeball at that thing and catch it super easily. Easy peasy pudding and pie. Throw a Pokeball, it does not die. Now let's take a look and see what the Pokedex entry has to say for Numel. Pokedex entry number 101, Numel. Numel stores boiling magma in the hump on its back. It is a hardy Pokemon that can transport a 220-pound load. It has served humans at work since long ago. I am very glad that they said it was a boiling hot magma, not lava, because lava is what it is once it's exposed to the surface, exposed to the air, you can see it, but magma is what is boiling underneath the ground that you cannot see. So they were scientifically accurate with it. Like, not to be pedantic or anything, slides up my anime glasses. Well, they actually did it right this time. Where most people use these two words interchangeably, they actually have different meanings based off of the etymological use of the words. But linguistical nerding put aside, I end up naming Numel after a very famous mountain or volcano. Pompeii. After that, we doodle our way back over to the Pokemon Center to take advantage of that free healthcare since we're children, we don't have to pay for it, and take a look at our 2 new party members in the PC. Now, it's not exactly rocket science, but we have a grass-type Pokemon. We're about to go and fight a fire-type gym. I decide to double back and go swap out Josh Waltz. I don't want him to, die the episode we get him. And we end up throwing Patrick, the Geodude who is 4 times resistant to the fire-type gym. Now, I'm not really a big fan of Geodudes, as some of you may have seen in my Pokemon Fire Red Nuzlock tier list video. I put them as some of the worst possible Pokemon you could get. However, in this one super specific situation where having a Geodude, unlike the Geodude we're fighting, which is cringe, but having a base Geodude on our team, which is 4 times resistant to early game fire type gym, could actually make it good. It might actually bump it up to a higher spot. Now we get into a fight with another high calorie human, and his Numel, level 17. Thankfully we have Kipper, who can make short work of this fool. And his next Pokemon, Machop. More like Machamp, am I right?
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Stop it. Get some help.
But why? Why would you do that? Why would you do any of that?
Fine, I won't quit my day job. But as far as Machops go, we actually got a Machop as our encounter here. So we throw out Shinron to lower its attack, and then seeing its absolute guts to attack Shinron, I knew there was only one thing that I could name this Machop. But before we name it, let's take a quick look at the Pokedex entry and see what it has to say. Pokedex entry number 73, Machop. It continuously undertakes strenuous training to master all forms of martial arts. Its strength lets it easily hoist a sumo wrestler onto its shoulders. So he may be a little guy, but he has the strength of a very, very big guy. You know who else used to be a little guy, trained martial arts, and is crazy strong? That's right, Goku. We now have potentially a Dragon Ball team roster starting. We've got Shinron, we've got Goku. I could be persuaded to name a Pokemon Vegeta, and at that point it's just a slippery slope until we add Piccolo to the team. I mean, you can't have a Dragon Ball themed team without Piccolo. The man exudes aura. But I don't want to go too heavy into the nicknames for Pokemons being only one type of TV show or anime, so I might have to diversify it a little bit. Maybe we'll name future Pokemon after different cartoons. We've already got SpongeBob covered through Patrick, our rock. But do we have anything for Danny Phantom? Or what about The Amazing World of Gumball? Or Johnny Bravo? Or the Powerpuff Girls? There are too many options. This seems like a prime opportunity to ask the viewers a question. My question for you guys is, what was your favorite cartoon growing up? Were you more of a Cartoon Network or Nickelodeon kind of guy? And what was your favorite cartoon character? I might snag some of your answers for future Pokemon's nicknames. Oh, and Numel in the background, don't care about him. And that's the guy I actually really wanted was Slugma-Balls! Or Macargo. Macargo fast. Vroom vroom. But yes, my maturity level is over 9,000.
It's over 9,000! What?
After briefly taking a look at Goku in the Pokemon Center, we head over to the Pokemart, grab some antidotes before we go over the biker path, and realize we have to manually equip the bike. It's not like in Fire Red and Leaf Green where when you go over to the biking path, it'll automatically put you on your bike. No, you have to slowly, painstakingly, manually do it, which is kind of cringe. But we go over, get a couple of boat rides from the old guy, and check on the berries to see that they are once again not growing. I was super excited for berries and growing tons of them and using strats, but c'est la vie. That's what I get for using an emulator, I guess. I then decide to pop back in this house to see if they have made any progress, and they have. New rooms, new people to fight, who are relatively on level. And then I remember that this place is based off of the number of gym badges you have. So every time you gain a new gym badge, a new section of their puzzle map will open up with Pokemon that should be on par with your current level. That way you can use them as a, not an XP farm, but more like a little mini dungeon, and you can gain experience from these people. That way you can then go on and have an easier time against the next gym, and so on and so forth. Every gym you defeat will generate new trainers that you can battle for more experience. And since my Pokemon are on par with the levels that they should be, every bit of experience would be 100% appreciated. Even the experience you get from a kid like this, who only has one Pokemon. Now it is level 17, but still, only one Pokemon? You can legally carry up to 6 of them. And that is one thing that I've never understood. I understand it from a game design perspective. But the evil teams, why on earth do they care what the law is? I would like to see a Pokemon game, I know they're not going to do it, but maybe a fan-made game, where the evil team is just like, nah, I'm carrying 12 to 18 Pokemon on me. Now obviously make them lower level, that way it balances out, having to slog your way through a grunt that has like 10 Pokemon, or you get to an admin that has 12, and you're like, oh my gosh, their Pokemons are in the teens, while your Pokemons are in the, say, late 20s, early 30s. But still, if you throw enough bodies at somebody, they're going to run out of PP. It'll be more challenging. And it will feel like they're being nefarious evildoers, doing evil nefariously by carrying that many Pokemon with them. Our reward for defeating the puzzle that time? A timer ball. Now here's how it goes. Master Ball, best possible Pokeball. Quick Ball, turn 1, second best possible Pokeball in the game. Timer Ball gets stronger every 10 turns in combat, maxing out at, I think, 51 turns in combat. It becomes stronger than a Quick Ball. So, technically it is the third best option, but who wants to sit in a battle for 51 turns? At that point, you're just standing in front of a legendary, putting it to sleep. Every time it wakes up, putting it to sleep. Every time it wakes up, putting it to sleep. That way you can hit 51 turns, have the highest possible catch rate, short of a Master Ball. Is it really cool? Absolutely. Have I done it before? 100%. Did it work? Oh, you know it. Giratina was mine. But it just took so long. Now, I'm killing this Numble in the background for experience, but also because I don't have to worry about whatever Pokemon pops up here, since technically this little patch there is still Route 112. So, we already had our Route 112 encounter, we don't get another one. But now that we've passed into a new route, and I'm fighting this guy over here, easily dispatching his Wailmer with my electric dog. Clifford is shockingly good at that.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
All jokes aside, this Makuhita is actually annoying with how much it's spamming accuracy dropping moves on Life Death. Even with it, Life Death still obliterates this guy. It's like Life Death is a great Pokemon, a true G, an MVP, one of my favorite living Pokemon. It's so nice to have Life Death alive. Anyway, we break into this old lady's house and she's like, finally, some company. Please rest. Watch my TV. I'll heal your Pokemon. So, I'm not gonna say no. I decide to chill there for a little bit, watch some TV. She heals up the team. I'm like, huh, what a nice old lady. I talk to her for a few minutes and then I go on my day. Sometimes it's nice to just help an old person out once in a while. I'm a villain, not a monster. I say, as I use an electrical move that's 4 times super effective against her Pokemon. Guarantee you that wasn't a knockout and unconscious kind of moment. That was a straight up RIP, that brother's gone.
Murder?
Goofy, shut the fuck up.
I love murder.
Goofy, I'll fucking do it again.
Yes, we do be murdering her Pokemon. After murdering her team, we start to head over to the next area before we double back and heal up at the old lady's house. And then we go over to this volcanic ash area, which would probably kill Make-A-Wish. And we get a Spinda as our encounter. And I throw a Pokeball and catch it. Let's see what the Pokedex entry has to say about this thing. Pokedex entry number 114, Spinda. It is distinguished by a pattern of spots that is always different. Its unsteady, tottering walk has the effect of fooling its foe's aim. This is the most hated Pokemon, at least when it comes to completionists and collectionists. No human can have a complete and total collection of Pokemon because of this thing. And the reason for that is, when it says it has different variation patterns and spots, it's not kidding. The different natures and variations for its patterns, spots, and genders come to a total of 4,294,967,296 variations of this Pokemon. Before you factor in shinies. If you wanted to get one of each variation of this Pokemon and get a shiny version of each variation of this Pokemon, you would be at over 8.5 billion, with a B, billion versions of this Pokemon to complete your collection. The games cannot hold anywhere near that many. That's why everyone hates it. I just don't like it because I would have rather had a Skarmory. But we name it Max, from Max and Ruby.
Max and Ruby. Ruby and Max.
This helps us to keep with the theme of nicknames from either TV shows or anime. Now all we have to do is name another Pokemon Ruby at some point, and we could have both Max and Ruby. Ah, Skarmory, that's what I had really wanted. It is only weak to electricity, which, Clifford just so happens to be. Because it is the Steel Flying type, a very rare type combo, which is really good. Corviknight is a more modern version of the Steel Flying combo. Another really good combo that I like is the Ghost Steel combo. My favorite Pokemon is the Aegislash line, so Hone Edge, Dual Edge, and Aegislash. Okay. It just went biochemical nuclear anthrax on us and we barely survived. Why does the NPCs always be like, well, if I'm going down, I'm taking you with me, kamikaze style?
Yeah, I'm a fucking kamikaze crashing into everything.
I believe that Shinron's Intimidate is the only thing that stopped us from getting murdered right there, as it reduced Coughing's attack before it went in full kamikaze mode.
So cute! So cute!
Oh, just look at this little guy. He's just a little guy. I'd have to be a total monster to slay him. So anyway, I throw out Kipper and proceed to slay him. I'm something of a monster myself.
Flashback.
The secret side of me, I never let you see. I keep it caged, but I can't control it. So stay away from me, the beast is ugly. I feel the rage and I just can't hold it. It's scratching on the walls, in the closet, in the halls. It comes awake and I can't control it. Hiding under the bed, in my body, in my head. Why won't somebody come and save me from this? Make it end. I feel it deep within, it's just beneath the skin. I must confess that I feel like a monster. I hate what I've become, the nightmare's just begun. I must confess that I feel like a monster. I feel like a monster. I feel like a monster.
End of flashback.
Murder! Goofy, shut the fuck up.
I love murder.
Why? I'll fucking do it again.
It would appear that Kipper has developed a new hobby, murder. And he seems pretty good at it, as whenever I get into a tight spot, I just throw Kipper out there and he obliterates whatever I'm dealing with. Now, is that a potential problem later down the line if he starts going psychotically rabid? Maybe. Am I going to do anything at all to prevent such a thing from developing? Nah. If he wants to go ham later on, say the Elite Four, let loose. I'll let him choose his own moves and whatnot. Probably via a random dice roll. Ah yes, this fight. The one where Life Death takes a ridiculous amount of damage. So I swap her out, and don't let her die. Well, at least she doesn't die in this fight, I should say. But let's focus on where we're at and what's actually going on right now, which is we are obliterating a couple of Spindas. And since there are, 8.5 billion potential total Spindas in the world, I don't think it's going to be that bad if we kill a few here and there.
I'm in danger.
This is getting out of hand. Now there are two of them.
No! God, please, no! 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 No!
No thanks, I choose life.
No. Wait. Wait. That's what I'm talking about! That's why he's the MVP! That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
It was such an intense, unnecessarily stressful moment. I thought we were going to lose Kipper for sure. The NPCs out here just packing biochemical nuclear warheads in their pockets being like, oh, this? My hydrogen neutrino antimatter quantum bomb? Yeah, I've got 3 of them. Thank goodness that old lady was nearby to heal my Pokemon. But I've got to get out of here. I'm over here sweating bullets now, not knowing who's going to have a little 19 level Aron that I could easily fight, and who's going to be packing, weapons of mass destruction. Thankfully, I get out of that area, get into a double battle. I feel a little bit more at ease. Double battles, I have a bit more leeway, more strategy that I can do, more control, less, surprise, explosions. I feel very positive that we had Clifford out here putting in the work, because 3 of the Pokemon on the opponent's team were weak to electricity. So shocking to no one, we were able to deal catastrophic damage. I felt quite amped up after that fight.
Oh shit. Here we go again.
Okay, don't be so negative. I promise I won't make as many bad jokes. We go ahead, heal up, meet the Bill knockoff for this region who designs the PCs, poke around in the PC before heading over to the Pokemart to start buying some much needed super potions, which then takes pretty much all our money. After that, I run around and talk to NPCs hoping to find somebody useful until I come across this guy. Not him. This little guy here who gives us the TM for Dig.
That's a surprise tool that can help us later.
And now we're going to swap into our good old friend Life Death to help defeat this Barboach, because Life Death is such a good, super powerful living Pokemon. After defeating that fisherman, I decide it's time to come over here, fight this old man, who then doesn't want to fight, so I get into a double battle with these two. A Barboach and a Nuzleaf? In this economy? Yes, please. We get that double Intimidate drop from Shinron, and then start laying an absolute beat down on these Pokemon, who, though are close in level, did not have nearly enough firepower to keep up with us. We then cross this bridge and get into a fight with this guy who's like, if you don't pay my toll, you don't eat no roll. And I looked at him and I'm like, I'm not paying any kind of toll for the bridge, I'd rather fight you for it. So he throws his Pokemon out, and, well, as you can see what's going on in the background, it's not exactly rocket science. We obliterate him and then get into a fight with this chick. Now, our electric dog shocks her water rat and puts that thing to the bottom of Davy Jones' locker before her Lombre comes out, which is actually a little bit more of a challenge because it keeps dropping Clifford's attack. And Clifford's taking too much damage, so we gotta swap out into the tried and true method of Life Death. After quickly dispatching our opponents, Life Death does like a little triumphant backflip. We then go collect a gold nugget that was sitting in the middle of a crater, heal up at the hospital, and then blitz all the way back over here. Because we have an encounter. A Swablu, the little cloud bird Pokemon which evolves into an Altaria, which is a dragon type. But now let's go ahead and take a look and see what the Pokédex entry has to say. Pokédex entry number 121, Swablu. A Pokemon that has wings like cottony clouds. After enduring winter, in which little food is available, Swablu flocks move closer to towns in the spring. It's a cute little guy, and it grows up and becomes a dragon without any teeth, which is kind of the idea for its name, as you can see in the background. I named Swablu Toothless.
Toothless. I could have sworn you had teeth.
After that, we make our way to the knockoff Bill's house, and I mean, just look at it. This woman is such a hoarder, such a pack rat, that there are spots where you can't even walk around because there's just so much junk everywhere. Honestly, this meme perfectly encapsulates her home. I then, fearing for the lives of my Pokemon, run out of there, because I do not want them to pick up some kind of dead, rotten mold or mildew in their lungs. Come to Nurse Joy, heal them up, go to my PC, take a look at my new Pokemon, who I'm not going to quite add to the party yet, but I'm already cooking up strategies in the background, before I run back over here and get into a fight, or I should say a double fight, with these two who have a Roselia and a Graveler. Now, it seems like it'd be an easy fight. We just throw out Shinron, get the double Intimidate, and then slowly whittle them down, which is kind of what we do. But the fact that there was a Grass-type Pokemon here, meaning we can't swap into, Kipper, and a Rock-type Pokemon, which means we can't really use our Electric-type because he's also part Ground, and we can't use Life-Death because Rock beats Bug, and Rock beats Flying, and Shinron's part Flying, and now I'm starting to realize we have overlapping type weaknesses. Now, in this early game, it's not that big a deal, but if we get to the mid or late game and we still have this much imbalance in our team, this lack of synergy or cohesion, that, for lack of a better term, this lack of diversity, equity, and inclusion, then we're in for a world of hurt because we're not going to have safe switches, we're not going to have good team synergy, we're going to have very, very strong matchups against some trainers, and potentially squad-wiping matchups against others. So we are going to have to do a little bit of reshuffling of the team. Now, thankfully, we do have enough Pokemon saved up in the computer that we could start mixing and matching, planning out a perfect team, or at least a more optimal team that has better type coverage. The last thing we want is to get into a fight where we would get completely bodied and have 3 or 4 of our Pokemon killed, when we could have very easily mitigated such a risk by just swapping the teams around. And I think the best possible time to do that would be after Flannery's gym. We will have already gotten the full use out of our Geodude, we've gotten all of our water-type Pokemon that we have on the team right now, which is 3 of them, I just realized. We have Shinron, Squidward, and Kipper all being water-type on the same team, probably heavily skewing our, type diversity right there. But we will get maximum use out of our water abilities, defeat Flannery, get our fire-type gym, reorganize and shuffle our team, which brings me to my question to you guys. What, based off the Pokemon that we have so far and that we've seen, would be the ideal team composition? Definitely let me know in the comments below, and I'll probably take the time to reorganize the team and maybe even do a little bit of mining off screen to get them up to par after we defeat Flannery. So anything before Flannery, we probably aren't going to mix around. Ah yes, the mountain where we get attacked by a ton of Zubats. I want an encounter in here, but we've already got a Zubat, so we can't get another one. And then they throw us another one. A DJ Kelly, another one. It's getting ridiculous. Now, there's also, I think it was Lunatone and Sonala, not the legendary one, but the Sun and Moon rocks, respectively. Oh, what was that? Bloods and Crips are throwing a hissy fit or something? Not important. What is important is we finally got our fair valid encounter in Solrock. That's what its name was. The only problem is, even after paralyzing it, it's just so impossible to catch. This thing is ridiculous. I've thrown countless Pokeballs at this point, and I'm starting to get a little frustrated. So that frustration, comboed with the fact that it was getting late in the day while I was recording, so I was starting to get a little pressed for time, led to me just bouncing on the encounter entirely. So yes, I did throw away an entire encounter by running away from the fight. Hopefully, that's not the one encounter that would have saved my run. If it is, then I guess I kind of deserved it for being impatient. Now we're in a fight with a karate guy. So the perfect counter? Life death. Unfortunately, she took too much damage, we have to swap her out, because we're not going to let her die. In fact, she doesn't die at all. Everything up to this point has been what we in the show business like to call the art of misdirection. That's right, I fed you false flags, making you think she would die. But I thought you would think she would die because of the false flags, so then I realized you might think that I thought you would think she would die, and then think that I'm trying to trick you all along. So I had to then think that you would think that I thought that you would think that. That way I could then pull a double whammy and super surprise you by doubling down and putting even the little foreshadowing thing in there with the dead Pokemon in the background, allowing me to outthink you by thinking you would think I would think that, so I thought what you think I would not think. And that's how I tricked you. Turns out the whole game was rigged from the start.
You've made your last delivery, kid. Sorry you got twisted up in this scene. From where you're kneeling must seem like an 18-carat run of bad luck. Truth is, the game was rigged from the start.
Absolute cinema as far as transitions go. But now we're going to go ahead and wrap up this episode by beating up these people and their Pokemon. They have a Zangoose, which is not available in Pokemon Emerald, so it's kind of like they're flexing on us. Now, Zangoose is actually available in Ruby and Sapphire, but for some reason, they took it out of Pokemon Emerald so you can no longer access it. I don't know what the thought process was there. I mean, for the crown jewel of your game trio, you should have more Pokemon available in it, not less. But I mean, that's just my 2 cents. But thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the flip side.